There's a spider. 1 second, I need to go kill it. Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. We are a little bit past the halfway mark of 2022, but today, I don't care, I am going to be filming my mid-year book freakout tag. This is the tag that goes around the booktube community every year, and I'm super excited to do it again for the second time. I did it in 2021. I'll have that video linked above, and yeah, I'm doing it again today. So, I jotted down the questions from my video last year when I was at work last week, I think. So they're scribbles. I don't know if I can read everything, but we're gonna try. They're also probably not like worded correctly, like based off the actual question. So I'm gonna have like the official questions down below. I'm just like going to be saying what's on my piece of paper, whether or not like that is actually how the question was like originally produced, if that makes sense. I'll also have the original video linked in the description down below if you would like to check it out. I'm not going to be tagging anybody to do this, but consider yourself tagged if you see this and want to do it. I'm not picky. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. There are 15 questions to this tag. I have my stack of books next to me for some of these questions, and I'm very excited to talk about, my answers to these questions. So the first one is, how many books have you read so far this year? I am currently sitting at 176 books read on my Goodreads 2022 reading challenge shelf thing. I have no words. I don't know how, but that's where I'm at. My original goal was 200, so I am very close to reaching, the 100% mark on that reading challenge. The second question is, what have you been reading this year? I have basically been reading all of the thrillers and all of the romance. After getting back into reading at the very beginning of 2020, I think I'm just now figuring out my tastes in reading, and that tends to be thrillers and romance. The next question is, what are your favorite or favorites of 2022 so far? I picked 4 to talk about. 3 of them I do have physically, and then 1 is an arc that I had that hasn't come out yet. So the first book is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwake Emezi. This is a contemporary romance about Faye, who lost her husband in a car accident, hasn't allowed herself to feel love or move on from him in the last couple years that he's been passed. And she finds unconventional love, or what she thinks that other people might see as unconventional, in a person that becomes very dear to her. I love this book. It made me cry. I have so many tabs in it. I thought it was beautiful. I read this author's other book, The Death of Vivek Oji, and loved it. I think that this author is a phenomenal writer, and I really want to read everything else that they have written at some point in the future. The second one that I have is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. This is a dark romance. It is a duet. I have the second one on my shelf. I still need to read it. But I love this book. There are lots of triggers for it. I'll have them listed down below as usual. But I thought that this was a very beautiful book that touched on some really heavy topics, but like in a really good way. Third, I have Wicked Beauty by Katie Roberts. I actually had an arc of this on NetGalley, read it, loved it. I am a part of Katie Roberts' Patreon, so every other month she sends physical copies to people in a certain tier of her Patreon. I'm in like the paperback subscription one. I got a signed book plate from her, as well as a physical copy of Wicked Beauty and some art prints that are inside. Love this book. It is a spicy, like kind of Hunger Games, not retelling, but like it has those vibes to it. This one is between Achilles, Helen, and Patroclus. It was really fun, loved it. And then the fourth book that I had in this list of favorites is Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner, I believe is the author. This is a sapphic romance about a college student named Cassie who falls for her best friend's mom. It was so much fun, so heartwarming. I teared up at the end, Loved it. The only thing about this one that like I wished there was more of was kind of talking about both of our main characters' passions. We know that they're so passionate about what they do, but I was kind of like not confused, but like I felt it was very vague when it came to talking about what they actually did. Like we know that Erin's a doctor, but what kind of doctor? Where does she work? Like she sees patients, but like I don't know, I felt like there wasn't enough detail about that. And same with Cassie. She loved like working in a mechanic shop, I believe, and like they'd always talked about how there was like grease on her fingers, but like I just wanted more details, I guess. I don't know, I felt like something was missing when I was reading those scenes during which those things were talked about. So aside from that, love this book, would recommend. It comes out in October. The next question is best sequel, and I would say that my favorite sequel so far this year is Us by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is the second book in the Him duo, which is a male-male new adult hockey romance. So much fun. I've read this book twice already this year. I've read Him, which is the first book, twice this year, and yeah, love this one. The next question is new release to read, or what is a new release that you need to read, I think is what that's saying. Yeah, I don't know. So for that I had I Kissed Shara Wheeler and Twisted Games. Both of these are romance. This is young adult contemporary romance with mystery in it, I believe, as well. And then this is a bodyguard romance between a princess and her bodyguard. Next is most anticipated release. For this, I just wrote It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I read It Ends With Us last year. Honestly, didn't love it. I thought that the synopsis was very misleading, but I think that It Starts With Us is going to make all of my dreams come true. Hopefully, I'm gonna reread It Ends With Us before It Starts With Us comes out, but I think this one is out in October or late September. Next is biggest disappointment. What is your biggest disappointment of the year so far? And I am saying One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. I was in love with the cover from the start, which is probably why I originally requested an arc of it on Goodreads. But unfortunately, I gave this book 2 stars. I had high hopes for it, but it just didn't work for me. That one is a thriller. The biggest surprise for me this year was, or so far this year, is A Matter of Temptation. That's the next question. This is a historical romance by Stacey Reed. It is like about Mina, who goes like and fights her brother's duel for her against an earl because her brother like challenged him after accusing him of cheating or whatever, and then she ends up working for him and then they fall in love, yada yada yada. Love this book. I was not expecting to fall in love with it as much as I did. I never go into a book like expecting to not enjoy it, but I wasn't expecting to enjoy this one as much as I did, I guess. Yeah, I gave this book 5 stars. I was in pain by the end of it. I took a bunch of pictures of amazing quotes from the book, and I need to like write them down somewhere because they were just phenomenal. This was a phenomenal book. It came out in June. My tour stop for this one is today, and I have a review going up for it. But yeah, I love this one. Next question is, do you have a new favorite author? I put down Akwaeke Emezi for this one, especially after loving You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Yeah, I've only read 2 books by them so far, but I do foresee them becoming a new favorite. I do want to read Pet and the prequel or sequel that is out for that one. That's a young adult horror, I believe. This was a beautiful book and really cemented my love for the author. Next question is underrated gems you've discovered. The first one I wrote down, I forgot that I have a physical copy of it, was I Am Margaret Moore. I've talked about this book multiple times in some of my videos from this year. Gave this book 5 stars, wasn't expecting to. It's like a horror, thriller, paranormal thingy, but it got me really emotional, so yeah. And then the other one that I put down for that is The Second Best Haunted Hotel on Mercer Street. This is a middle grade paranormal ghost story. The next question is, have you reread any books this year? I don't reread super often, but I did reread Him and Us by Elle Kennedy / Serena Bowen this year. This is just the second book. I have the first book over there. But yeah, I did reread this duology this year. The next question is, books that made you cry. I have this book on my dresser. I don't know why I didn't grab it. Let me go get it. I'll be right back. So there are like so many books that make me cry. I cry all the time when reading, but one of the books that has recently made me cry is Tryst 6 Venom by Penelope Douglas. I'm a sucker for Penelope Douglas. I love anything that they write. This is a sapphic bully romance. I'm not gonna lie, I was not loving it at first, but by the time I got to the end, I was hooked. I cried, I laughed, I tabbed a ton in it. I also underlined and like jotted some like words on the pages sometimes. Not super often, but I know that I did. Yeah, but I know that I did. Yeah, in a couple of different places. Gave this book 4 stars, really enjoyed it. I love Penelope Douglas and I really enjoyed this book. It was very much a pleasant surprise for me in the end. And then the next one is opposite of books that made you cry. What are some books that made you happy? I wrote down 2. First is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. The second is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. That one comes out in August and it was so good. I was also in pain by the end of this book, but like in the best way possible. 2 questions left. The next one is, what is the most beautiful book you have purchased in 2022? I scribbled down the word all, like all my books are pretty. Yeah, that's supposed to be all. I don't know if, yeah, it's legible. But I ended up just picking 4 books to share for this question because I have so many beautiful books, especially as I've gotten into collecting special editions. And yeah, so I'm gonna share 4 special editions with you. First up is The Revenge Pact by Ilsa Madden Mills. This is a new adult football romance. This book is beautiful both inside and out. I read it 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 3 days ago, I think, yeah. And I cried a ton. I was expecting to cry because it's just a football romance, but this book hit me so hard. It was so beautiful. I had so much fun with it, gave it 5 stars, would recommend. This is the special edition also from the Bell Book Box. It is signed by the author, which is awesome, and it has beautiful sprayed edges. Then the next 3 books are from a sort of semi-new online book box company / bookstore called The Last Chapter Bookshop. I have The Last Chapter Bookstore. The Last Chapter Bookshop, yeah, it's on the back of this book. So I've gotten 5 books from that store so far, and I love all of them. So the 2 that I chose to share from this book shop are Dead Girls Never Talk by S.J. Silvis. This is a prep school romance, and this is a special edition cover. I have a book, like a signed book plate over there from S.J. Silvis. And then I also chose to share Cruel King by Rena Kent. I've read 4 books by this author so far and have enjoyed all of them overall. So I was excited when The Last Chapter posted that Rena was also going to be a part of their prep school trope box, which is how I got this one and 2 others. So this came in that box as well. There will also be a signed book plate that comes with this. It's just not here yet. But yeah, this is another exclusive cover. And then finally, I wanted to share Echoes of Silence by Indy Black. This is a special edition cover from The Story of My Life bookstore. Again, another book box company. And yeah, this came in their June box. I'm not subscribed to any of these companies like every month, but some of them do have like one-time purchases, which I will buy sometimes, or I will like buy secondhand from people who are selling from boxes like Bell Book Box or Mystic Box, whatever. So those are 4 of my beautiful book covers that I wanted to show off. Honestly, I love so many of my books that are over here, but yeah, those are 4 that I wanted to highlight really fast. The 15th and final question is, what are your goals for the rest of the year? I wrote down 4. Number 1, catch up on challenges. So for me, that means catching up on the 22 and 2022 challenge, as well as the 12 and 12 challenge, because yikes. The second one is post more reviews on social media. My Instagram is already pretty good about posting book reviews. The problem is that I don't post a ton anymore, so I need to get back into that because I have so many pictures in my drafts. I'm too lazy to like put them together, you know, but it's fine. Number 3 is catch up on NetGalley. I actually think I've been doing very well on that so far this year. My ratio is at like 63%, which doesn't sound great, but I've read a ton of books from NetGalley this year. So I think that's awesome. And I've stopped requesting as much too, which is also great. And then the fourth and final goal that I wrote down here, because yikes, is I'll even show you all. No more buying books. Like, I'm serious. I need to stop buying books. I'm moving to Nashville in a couple of weeks. There is a spider. 1 second, I need to go kill it. Okay, sorry, there was a spider crawling on my carpet and it was awful. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I am moving to Nashville in like 2 weeks. And it's scary. Like, I'm excited, but it's also terrifying. Starting grad school, need to be a big girl, you know, like find a big girl job, whatever. So I need to save money. I need to stop buying books, and that's that. So that's my fourth goal for the rest of the year. I do have a couple of pre-orders which don't count because I've had them pre-ordered for like months and months and months. But no more buying books on Pango, no more stalking, you know, like buy, sell, trade groups, no more of that, none. So it's fine, I'm fine, just sad. Anyway, yeah, so those are my goals for the rest of the year. These are all of my answers for the mid-year book freakout tag. I had fun filling out my answers. Some of them were kind of tricky for me, like the beautiful book cover question, because so many of my books are just stunning in my opinion. But yeah, I love doing this challenge. Would recommend watching the original video in the description down below. I'm sure there are so many other videos out there floating around currently that have recently been uploaded from other booktubers. Go watch all of them. I'm sure they're great. I'm also going to start watching some because I haven't watched booktube in a long time and I do want to. So I'm gonna go find some mid-year book freakout challenges to watch. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.